We're going to go through the core questions in the New Zealand Road Code using the free Road Code Practice website at drivingtests.co.nz. There are 55 questions in total, and we'll break these across a couple of videos. What rule should you use to judge a safe following distance in wet or frosty conditions when following a car? Usually, in dry conditions, you'd use the 2-second rule, but the coefficient of friction of the road is reduced when it's wet or frosty, and that increases stopping distances when braking. Therefore, you should use the 4-second rule. If there are one or more yellow flashing lights at traffic signals, what does it mean? When the traffic lights are faulty, they will flash yellow, and this means that the give way rules apply at that intersection. Therefore, B is the correct answer. What must you do when red lights are flashing at a railway level crossing? Red lights mean stop. It's likely that there's a train approaching, and therefore you should wait until the lights stop flashing. If you see a police car with its red and blue lights flashing behind you, should you pull over and stop? The answer here is yes. The police car might not be behind you because it wants to pull you over, but you won't know this until you pull over. If the police car goes past you when you pull over, you're free to continue. When coming up to a roundabout, you must give way to all vehicles that will cross your path from the left. Correct or incorrect? On a roundabout, you always give way to the right. Therefore, the answer is B, incorrect. When driving at night on a road with lanes, you must be able to stop in half the length of clear road you can see in front of you. True or false? There are two similar questions, and you need to be careful. This question includes a road with lanes, but you could get another question about a road without lanes, and the answer is different. On a road with lanes, if you meet a car, it will be on the other side of the road in its own lane. On a road without lanes, it's likely to be narrow, and there's a possibility that there is restricted room to pass, which increases the risk of a head-on collision. Therefore, on a road without lanes, you must be able to stop in half the distance of the road you can see in front of you, as the other car must also be able to stop. In this case, the answer is false, because it's a road with lanes. What is the purpose of the 2-second rule? Check any that apply. Answer A. To allow overtaking vehicles to move into the line of traffic safely if required. This seems like it might be a correct answer, but the onus is on the overtaking vehicle to ensure that it can move into the line of traffic if the overtaking manoeuvre has to be aborted. A is not a correct answer. B. To give you enough time to stop if the vehicle in front stops. This is a correct answer. And C. 2 seconds is enough time to stop in any weather conditions if required. That's not correct. If it's raining, frosty, icy, or gravel, then you will need further to stop. You should consider using the 4-second rule, or even longer, especially if it's icy. Only B is correct. When must you dip the headlights on your vehicle? Select all that apply. When you are following other vehicles. A is correct. If you have your full beam headlights on when you're following other vehicles, then you'll dazzle them in their rearview mirror. B. When a police officer is directing traffic. Again, if you have your full beam headlights on, you'll dazzle the police officer. C. When you park. You'll dip your headlights when parked too. And D. When other vehicles are coming towards you. Again, with full beam headlights, you'll dazzle other vehicles coming towards you. Therefore, all of the answers in this question should be checked. Which of your vehicle's lights do you have on if you're driving in fog? When you turn your lights on, there are usually 2 stages. The first stage turns on your park lights or side lights. Many modern cars also have daytime running lights, which are on all the time. Park lights are additional low-powered lights on the side of the headlight cluster. The second stage turns on your dipped headlights. Therefore, you can't have dipped headlights on without park lights being on. Front and rear fog lights, if they're fitted, should be turned on in fog too. Therefore, D is the correct answer. You shouldn't use high beam headlights in fog because they reflect back off the fog, reducing your visibility. What does speed limit mean? The speed limit is the maximum speed for that road in good conditions. If conditions are bad, it might not be safe to travel at the speed limit, and therefore you should travel below the speed limit at a safer speed. Except in an emergency, when must you not use the horn on your vehicle in a 50 km/h zone? A 50 km/h zone is an urban area, and it's likely to be residential. Therefore, to be courteous to residents, you shouldn't use your horn between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. unless in an emergency. What's the speed limit for vehicles passing a school bus that has stopped to let children on or off? Children have less road sense than adults, and the bus is an obstacle that can obscure the view of traffic. Children may also be excited to see someone on the other side of the road and run out without thinking. Therefore, the speed limit past a school bus that has stopped to pick up or drop off children is 20 km/h. You must be careful with this rule on 100 km/h rural roads, as you can come around a corner and find a school bus on either side of the road, and you need to be ready to brake to get your speed down to 20 km/h. If you are caught passing a school bus at 100 km/h, then you will be exceeding the speed limit by 80 km/h, which attracts heavy penalties. What must you do before you turn to the right on a straight road? Check all that apply. Any time you're turning, you should signal for at least 3 seconds. You don't give way to vehicles from the left, because you're turning right, but you do give way to vehicles coming towards you. You'll position your vehicle towards the centre line and you'll check your mirrors. The only time you'll give way to your left is if you're directed to by a police officer. How many standard drinks can you have before driving if you are under 20 years old? The legal limit is 0 milligrams per 100 millilitres of blood for someone under 20. Therefore, the answer is D, none. What's the least distance of clear road you must have in front of you when you've finished passing another vehicle? The answer is 100 metres. This gives you enough of a buffer if another vehicle appears. If the red lights continue to flash at a railway level crossing after the train has passed, what should you do? The red lights may continue to flash because there's another train waiting to cross. Even though you might have seen one train pass, there still could be another one coming. Therefore, the answer is A. Wait until they've stopped flashing, check both ways, then cross. At an intersection, what do a police officer's directions overrule? They overrule traffic lights, give-way rules, and any road signs such as stop signs. Therefore, D, all of the above is correct. To help you from being blinded by the headlights of an oncoming vehicle, what should you do? A. Flash your lights to let the other driver know. This is not a good idea because by flashing your lights, you'll temporarily blind the other driver, and that puts you both at risk. B. Slow down and keep your eyes to the left of the road. This is the correct answer. By looking to the left, you'll minimise the amount you are blinded by the other driver's headlights. Looking to the right-hand side or centre of the road will reduce your vision. So B is the correct answer. What's the speed limit from the time you pass an accident sign until you've passed the crash site? If there's been an accident and the police have put an accident sign on the road, the speed limit is 20 km/h. This is because there could be debris on the road, injured people who could be disorientated, or emergency services workers on the road clearing up any mess and removing damaged vehicles. Therefore, the answer is A, 20 km/h. When must you signal that you're turning to the right? The answer here is always. and for at least 3 seconds before you turn. You might think that if you can't see other vehicles, that it's not necessary for you to indicate. However, there are other road users that are less visible than you that you might have missed, such as pedestrians and cyclists, and you should be in the habit of signalling for 3 seconds at all times.